So, Star Wars is a series that I have a very complicated relationship with, and I think I've mentioned this before. A lot of Star Wars I've kind of outgrown. I feel like just some elements that I don't find make very much sense. Other parts I still love, and I can't say I love the whole franchise at this very moment. But there are definitely certain aspects of it that I do just adore. So today, in honor of May the 4th be with you, and its sequel, Revenge of the Fifth, I'd like to talk about what I do love about Star Wars, and I'd like to talk about my favorite character. The only one who I think is kind of perfect, right? Like untarnished by uh, certain mistakes and missteps, and as it with regards to characterization, say. Um, I would like to talk about Darth Maul. Maul is a man, an alien, but a man who has never known family, and yet he strives for it. This is the character as represented in not just the movie Phantom Menace, where he was basically just an assassin, but in Clone Wars and Rebels, where he has an incredible character arc and is dramatically improved as a character. Um, Maul is a warrior taken from his true parents and molded into a weapon by Sheev Palpatine. He is orphaned, and he is in many ways alone in the world, even when he's fighting for the Sith and for vengeance and all that. Um, but Maul is nothing more than a servant, a minion of the future emperor, and it's really quite interesting the way Maul is manipulated and abused by Palpatine. It makes for such a fascinating character, and kind of improves Palpatine, who is a really like not even he's a one-dimensional character. I mean, let's face it. And and yet we learn quite a bit from Maul about just the way the Sith operate, let alone Palpatine himself. All very interesting, and Maul is defeated in service to his master. His obviously he's cut in half, and he is thrown away, ignored, and forgotten. Palpatine doesn't care about this loss whatsoever because really Maul was never the true apprentice. Palpatine was after Anakin and sort of Dooku a little bit, but and yet Maul endures. I mean, say what you will about Favreau and Filoni and Lucas and Kennedy and Disney, but between Clone Wars and Rebels, I'd say maybe the single best decision in the whole franchise is creating this story of Darth Maul being so full of hate that he was able to survive. And I know it's become kind of a joke now, and rightly so. There are too many characters in this franchise who inexplicably return from the dead. But when Darth Maul did it, it was cool. So I think it gets something of a pass because Maul became something more than a malicious badass. His resurrection had a point to it. He became this monster with a soul, the perfect agent of chaos, and he does have a soul. I mean, he has these wants and desires, and he wants his family back and his people back, and he wants to live by his own rules. And though he seeks the destruction of our boy Kenobi, he is also very clever and conniving, and he wants to live. In Clone Wars in particular, Maul, I think, manages to impress the audience with, I mean, me if no one else, with this sort of like poetic Shakespearean element to him, and his just incredible sense of cunning and manipulation. He is devious, and he devises all these clever plans for taking over whole planets. And though he's almost certainly chaotic evil, if not more neutral evil by the end of things, he is nevertheless a joy to watch. And it just goes to show how powerful a force user can be when unrestrained by morals or fear or by broken codes of conduct. Maul is able to make a mockery of most enemies he comes across, and even holds his own against, spoiler alert, and for that matter, spoiler alert for the, you know, the remainder of Maul's story in the Star Wars mythos, but I'm sure you figured that out by now. Um, he holds his own against Palpatine in a fight he could never hope to win. Um, and in defeat, he is made into a puppet yet again, a minion of the soon to be Emperor. Um, and he loses the one person he could possibly care for, his brother, the unfortunately named Savage Opress. Um, so from that point on, Maul gets even more interesting, in my opinion, because he seeks not only to foil the machinations of his old master, but he seeks to replace his brother. Uh, at first seeking out Anakin Skywalker, so two birds with one stone and all. He seeks to thwart Palpatine's plan with Anakin, uh, and also to get himself a new apprentice. Um, and when that doesn't work, he turns his attention to Ahsoka, and in Rebels, he tries again to find a replacement for his brother in Ezra, um, and yet he fails in that too. And Maul, as a character, despite his consistent failures, only gets better, in my opinion, with Ray Park doing the mocap for his fights, and Sam Witwer giving voice to the madman's poetry and villainy and sorrow. I can't help but think that, like, this is a villain. This is your Sith Lord, not the bland, cackling, two-dimensional Palpatine, or the cartoon that is General Grievous. Was never a fan of the forearms. And Dooku doesn't get enough screen time. He could be just as great, but he also gets kind of rather easily dispatched in Revenge of the Sith. And then you have, like, the brilliant pure evil that is Darth Vader does kind of suffer from being the same character as Anakin. I hate to say it. Um, and in the end, Maul also has something that borders on, it's not quite redemption, but it's almost acceptance for his past. He seems almost to have regrets, and he manages to let go some of his fear and anger and his desire for vengeance. In the very end, he sees something beyond the natural, something, a vision of something that makes no sense at all, really, to do with Luke of all people. And I don't understand that scene, and yet I think it works as an isolated story divorced from the rest of the franchise. It works. It's a good way to wrap up his story, if nothing else. Maul finds his old enemy, and after so many beautiful duels in the past, we get something that I think is even better. We bear witness to something right out of a western or a classic samurai story. they talk to each other, and their lines are short and direct. And Maul came all this way, blindly almost, to have his revenge against the one man he could possibly, foreseeably overcome. Not the root of his pain and his fear by far, but someone he could maybe, just maybe, defeat. An old man protecting something in the desert. Or perhaps someone. And Ben Kenobi, to protect a young Luke Skywalker, he tricks Darth Maul with a single move, really, a copy of the stance used by Qui-Gon Jinn. And Maul falls for it. The same movements that led to Qui-Gon's death, back and forth, and then a single blow. Maul is defeated. And as I said, isolated, it is a beautiful end to a beautiful story of fear and anger and loss, a story of betrayal and vengeance. Maul, on his destructive course, is finally brought down, and in his dying moments, he finds almost a modicum of peace at long last. And that is why I think Darth Maul is my favorite Star Wars character. Because not only is he just a brilliant character, made even more brilliant by with each iteration, but he is also sort of untainted by the needless complexities of the franchise. His story works even without much context, and almost works better without it. Um, it's a hidden gem in the midst of the chaos of the Star Wars series as a whole. So, yeah, happy Star Wars Day, everyone, and be it May the 4th or Revenge of the 5th. Um, and yeah, let no one tell you what you can or cannot enjoy, um, because I think when it comes to Star Wars, life's too short to waste on hatred in something so complex. Um, I think it's the sort of the perfect series to focus on what you like and ignore what you don't. Um, because, as I said, the story with Darth Maul was brilliant and almost worth the trade for some of the stories that I liked a lot less. Um, so yeah, that'll be all for now. Um, so yeah, bye.